Welcome, folks, to Hippie in a Race Car. We are back at the cafe for what I'm hoping to be the end of the main part of Gran Turismo 7. I've been working on this for months now, and I have finally arrived at the World GT Series Championship. 5 races. 5 good length races. So, this is going to be a long video. Hope that's not a problem. Let's jump in. First off, we have Deep Forest, a track I know quite well, and did a bunch of laps around it to tweak my car before I got started on this. I'll get into that in a little bit, but let's see how we do here. We're starting off early morning. It's dark, which makes it really fun because there's a lot of corners. This, like I say, I know this track really well, so it's not a big deal. I know where the corners are. I got a bad feeling some of the later. At this point in my racing, I'm thinking, oh my god, are these all going to be at night? One of them's in the Nürburgring, so that was terrifying. But here I am. I've tweaked the car so that it is faster than it was in terms of being able to get around corners. It's very, very fast in a straight line, but it is also, well, I like to call it responsive. Another word for that is twitchy. It's a bit oversteery, so you got to be careful giving it too much gas, but it's also stable in terms of braking. I love it. It's not perfect, but I'm loving the way it's set up. And as you can see, I'm leaving these guys behind. I'm all the way up into 16th at this point, halfway through the first lap. Down the long back straight into the hairpin. I'm hoping to do well in at least this race and Spa, which I know very well. Possibly Le Sart, because I have good top end speed. I love this move. See ya. Okay, I cut the corner a little bit. Sorry. Good top end speed at Le Sart, of course, is paramount because of the long straights. So I'm hoping I can do well in those first 3 races. Now, Panorama I know fairly well, but not that well. And the Nürburgring is, well, the Nürburgring. Bumped him because I forgot I'm a right-hand drive. A big fat part of my car is sticking out to the left. Watch this, is beautiful. Double pass, missed the guy and tucked myself right in here. One of the nicest maneuvers I think I've ever made. And see ya. Up into P11. Making good time. Making up some places here. And the sun is now coming back out. So thankfully, it's becoming daylight, which makes driving a whole lot easier. Driving at night, especially if you're not familiar with the track, is kind of terrifying because the corners have a tendency to sneak up on you. They're in the dark until you get to them. Okay. Around to Porsche. He zigged. I had to zig a little bit extra. I still got around him. P10. We're halfway through the field. Second time through the long back straight into the hairpin. This car has become an absolute dream for me at this point. I've always loved the NSX, so it was kind of the one I really wanted to focus on. And I started doing a whole bunch of laps in time trial before I started in this championship to work on how much toe in or out, how much camber, where should the suspension be sitting, differential settings, all kinds of different things to make the car not super understeery. It is a little, as I say, it's a bit twitchy, but stable in a straight line and braking. So that's, to me, is if I'm braking, especially if somebody's bumped me and I need to slow down, I need the car to get under control. The worst thing in the world is you start hitting the brakes and the car goes sideways, you're done. You'll never win races unless you can somehow drive a car that'll do that. Again, making good time. Now, I don't know, P9 I think at this point. Passing the Mazda on the inside, just tuck myself right in the see ya. I love this track. I love this track. It's got such excellent flow. This corner coming up, however, is a bit of a nemesis for me. I got it right in the last 2 laps, but I go sideways just about every time because I go into it a little bit too hot. It's too far back to make a lunge at that point, so then I'll just be patient. Be patient. I got a long straight here, and I got a fast car. So, excuse me, Mr. Ribelar, but I'd like your spot. Thanks. Coming into the hairpin, braking at about 130 for the double overtake. Went a little bit hot, but I got away with it. Comes back up beside me, and I'm going to say, yeah, okay, see ya. The LSD settings on the differential are absolutely, to me, I think they're just about as good as I can get them. almost no wheel spin coming out of the corners and stuff, and it just picks up and goes. Here we are, main straight, over the start finish line into lap number 4. I've got 4 people ahead of me, and I can see most of them, or at least I can see the back end of the podium position, so I've got a pretty good feeling I'm going to do all right in this particular race. This whole section here is a bit crazy. Dude flashing his brakes at me, like, whatever, dude, peace, I'm out of here. That's it. B4. The podium is ahead of me. 1, 2, 3, and there goes me. And there comes this corner again. Yeehaw! Anybody want to do some drifting? I don't. All right. Triple overtake? You think? I think we need to go for it. We'll go 3 wide into here. And I'm just going to go down the inside. Yeah, I got a little argy-bargy. Sorry. But I'm still taking the spot. I probably would have gotten a penalty for that in an online race, and I wouldn't do that maneuver in an online race because it is a bit argy-bargy, and that's not very nice. But now here I am, P1, after 4 laps. As I say, this is definitely one of my best tracks. I know the braking points, and I know this car quite well now. And it's more stable than it is straight out of the factory with the tweaking that I've done to it, as long as you're careful when you turn. I wanted the car that would turn when I turn the steering wheel. There was no delay. I want it to just head that direction. So the front end is a bit tighter than the back end in terms of roll bars. The LSD settings are not too high because I don't want understeer. I want the car to be able to turn quickly so I can get back on the gas, which is pretty much what I've created with this beautiful monster. Again, back, I won't say straight, not quite straight. The back, long, flat out section. Guys are nowhere near me at this point, and I'm not overly concerned about them catching up with me, unless I make a horrible blunder, but I should do okay. Again, 130 brake, down to first gear. But you're right at the apex. Beautiful. And then this is one of my favorite parts of any track in the entire game, because it's flat out all the way. Down the hill, back up the hill, around the corner, sweeping, and wonderful. It's so fun. That's it. 5 laps done, 1 to go. Braking here at about 110-ish to be safe. I think I braked a bit early. Probably get away. I think I was actually about 120 where I hit the brakes. Probably get away with 110 or so, but I didn't want to take any chances of going deep and ending up in the sand, making a mess of the lap and having them go by me and then not winning the race, because that would not be good. So if you're wondering about how to set up your car, the best way to do it, there's a lot of people online that'll tell you, oh, do it like this, set it up like that. Here's exactly what you want for this particular car on this particular track. And that's great, but why? And this is what I always tell people. Why is it doing what it's doing? Why do you want the camber to be less on a track that has long straights and more when you want it, when you're on a track that has a whole lot of corners, depending on the speed of the corner. If it's a fast sweeping corner, you want a little more camber because your car is going to lean and that tire will actually straighten out while you're turning the corner at speed. This is why these things do what they do. The amount of toe in or out. How much your differential comes into effect when you're accelerating, when you're braking. All of these things play into how well the car will handle. And in this game, it's accurate. And that's it. Race number 1, checkered flag is mine. A little love from a cat for the good luck. All right, 1 down, 4 to go. Race number 2, Spa. Also one of my favorite tracks. I remember doing the GT Academy trial. I never obviously made it to the GT Academy, but I remember doing that in the Tom's Supra way back in whatever 2015 or something, I think it was. And this track was the one that you got to race on, and it was the number of laps I put in. I ended up at about 5,000th in the world, I think, by the time I was done. I didn't do too horribly bad. Here we go, ripping down the hill toward Eau Rouge. This is where I found out that my car is actually rather twitchy. And somehow kept it going in a straight line. Terrifying, I will tell you, but hey, what the heck. Keeps it fun, keeps you awake. Right on, yeah. All right, I gotta learn all the names of these corners because I don't know most of them. So we got overtake number 1, and he goes left, and I go, all right, I'm just gonna sneak by you. Bye. A lot of the AI don't seem to realize when there's a car beside them. The number of times I've had a car just literally turn in on me when I'm right beside it. I'm thinking, dude, you do not see me? I mean, you had to be looking that direction to see the direction of the... Oh, yeah, I got real loose through there. That was unpleasant. You have to be looking right to see the corners going to the right. And if I'm on your inside, you should see me, you'd think. You'll find out in a lap or two exactly what I'm talking about. Dude literally cuts across in front of me, or into me, and I got lucky. Car, as I said, is stable when you're braking and in a straight line, and it did not spin, thank goodness, because it wasn't pretty. But this is one of those tracks that there are a few places on it that I'm a bit careful. Again, I went a little wide there, not horrifically bad. This section down here, I'm always a little bit careful going into this next right-hander, because I was in a league race once, and right there on the wall, I almost flipped an F1 car. Almost. I mean, it was all over the place. It was a horrific mess. I was absolutely out of the race. It was spectacular. And it was streamed, so everybody was like, oh my god, dude, how the heck did you almost flip that car? Well, you had to be going fast enough. I don't even understand what happened here. Dude slows down into the corner a lot more than I was expecting him to. I said, all right, well, you stay there. I'm just going to zip by you two. Thank you. See what I mean? Yeah, it's your racing line technically, but I mean, I'm just going to sneak by and you run into me. Well, that's your problem. All right, lap 1 done. Up the hill to La Source. And again, I'm just going to steal this spot. Both of them, as a matter of fact. No contact made. Beautiful maneuver. And leave them in the dust. P14. Down the hill to Eau Rouge. Let's see how I fare on this particular occasion. Not much better. A little bit better. I only had one terrifying moment instead of 3. And up the long hill to whatever the name of the corner is. I know a few of them. I know Pouon, because it usually Pouons me. And Eau Rouge, of course. La Source is easy enough because it's the source. It's the first corner. Simple enough. Bus stop chicane. Some of these I know, but a lot of them I don't. No name corner. Coming up. And this is one of those a little bit tentative going around here, because if you go wide, you end up over on that gravel over there. That's it. It's just ugly. You lose so much time. I'm thinking at this point, I'm already in halfway through the second lap. And, oh, here we go. Watch this. I think I should hit you so that you can go sideways through Pouon. I don't know. Maybe I should just go around you and say, see ya. So I do. And this section is fast. But in a twitchy car, you got to be a little bit careful. It's beautiful because it points in the right direction sooner than it did, meaning you can get the car turned in the right direction and get back on the gas. Down here into the flat out back end section, and these guys are, this was such a beautiful move. I was like, okay, you want to go right? I'll just go around it like that. See ya. Some of my best driving, honestly, in these 5 races. Some of my worst. I don't think worst, but I've definitely made some mistakes at times. through the bus stop. Not too bad, but you got to be careful coming out of that or you will spin. It's just one of those. Don't go too fast. Don't get on the gas too fast when you come out because it's uphill, around a corner. You know what I mean. It can get ugly. Through La Source, down the hill to Eau Rouge, behind the Mazda, the VGT Mazda, which has the craziest sound. The thing must run at around 12,000 RPM. All right, let's go 2x2 through Eau Rouge, shall we? Well, I gave it a little bit extra space, and unfortunately made me cut the corner there. Not too bad. I was just more interested in making sure I didn't hit him. I realized afterwards, and I don't think he was even beside me at that point. Up the hill to a corner I don't remember the name of. For that one, I'm braking at around 120. Can potentially brake a little bit later than that, but again, I just didn't want to take any chances of going long. I have an episode dedicated to super deep wall banger where I was going deep into just about every corner and banging off so many walls it was unbelievable. Through No Name. This corner has almost always caught me out. It's the one I've never really been able to get the right flow through. I get through it and I'm still pointing in the right direction, but it's not my favorite by any means. Puon's fun. I love it. It's fast and it's crazy. And great for passing people when they're a little bit slow. Here we are. Sneaking up beside the Supra. He couldn't quite decide which direction he went, so I decided to go around him. And down toward the last, or the back flat out section. P7. I'm thinking at this point, I've only got a lap and a bit to go. Oh, sorry, 2 and a bit to go. And I'm at P7, which is kind of the halfway point when you think of the drivers, because the back 10 aren't as fast as the front 10, and the top 3 especially are out there. So P7 is kind of halfway, went way deep into the bus stop, got away with it, didn't get up on the gravel or anything, so came out okay. And I'm thinking, at this point, I'm halfway through the race, or a little more than halfway through the race, and I'm about halfway through the field, so I kind of got to get a move on. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull off a win on this one. Through La Source, down the hill to Eau Rouge. Dude goes wide, the other dude goes wide. Apparently the AI do that too. Let's see how we fare this time. At this point, I'm basically off the gas until I get to about there. It's just terrifying how wiggy that car gets when you're going through there. Up the hill, long hill. 157 miles an hour. Braking at about 120-ish. Through the first chicane, beautiful. Through the second chicane, you don't really want to hit them too much. And I went a bit onto that chicane. You got to be careful of that one because it will grab you. And then down the hill to the right-hander that just keeps on right-handing. I'm gaining on this guy. I'm not too worried about whether I'm going to get by him. It's the top 3 I'm concerned about. I was like, yeah, excuse me, heading into Puon, and I'm just going to get ahead of you before you have a chance to cut across the track and smack into me, like the last guy did. Down into the fast chicane. A little bit of brakes, down into third. Bring it around. Back across. And I knew he was going to move right, so I thought I'll just stay on your left, and hopefully you don't run me completely off the track, which he did. And technically it's his racing lane, so okay, I blacked out for now. I know I got a faster car, so I just said, all right. Okay, you're going to keep going around me like this? Pick a side, dude. I said, screw it, I'm just going to go by you anyway. And how do you like being out there? Yeah, that's the grass. Peace. Down into the bus stop. Braking it around 120 for this one. Managed to get the apexes. The first one, good. The second one, decided to climb all over the sausage curb. I don't recommend climbing all over a sausage curb in a very low car. You will bounce every time. So there we go. The top three is ahead of me. Mr. Fraga in P3 in the Toyota. Pretty sure I can catch him, no problem. But I'm on the final lap. And I kind of need to get this job done. So I got to be careful I don't spin. I got to be careful I don't go wide. I'm going to sneak up your inside. Actually, one of the better trips through Eau Rouge for me. And then up the long hill. The very, very long straight hill to... I don't remember the name of the corner. I think it's Red Hill. I'm not sure. I really should actually memorize all these names. First corner good, second good. This was probably one of my better trips through this. It's so flowing and sweeping and beautiful. It's an absolutely lovely section. Into the crazy right-hander. Don't get on the gas too soon because you get on that grass on the left-hand side and that's time lost in a huge way. Here we are, P2 and P1 in front of me. All I gotta do is catch them and pass them. Through Pouan. Don't touch that inner curb. If you do, you will almost definitely spin. It's just got this amazing height to it that grabs the bottom of your car. Okay, I'm going by you eventually. Excuse me, thank you. Sneak up your inside. This car brakes like I've never had a car that brakes as well as this one does. It just slows down fast. Thinking, I'm just going to zip on by you too. And so I do. And you'll see, you look at me, there's a point where I go, whew, okay. Now all I got to do is not screw it up between here and the end of the lap. I've got that crazy left kink. They have to slow down for a little bit. And then I got the bus stop chicane. Should be able to get away with it, right? That one. If you don't slow down for that, you go wide. And then it gets a little ugly. Into the bus stop. Slowing down. I overcooked it a bit, but at this point I'm not worried about them catching up with me. Down the last bit. To the finish line. Second race. Complete. All right, 2 down, 3 to go. And next up we have La Sarthe, home of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Now, a track that I've raced on, but not a track I know very well. I know there's chicanes going down the ridiculously long straights. One goes to the right, one goes to the left. And then there's a bunch of other stuff on it, but it's a great track. I love it, but it's long. 3 laps as opposed to the 5 from Spa, which is, you know, a 7-kilometer track. So here I am trying to learn the track and not screw up too badly while passing people. Again, I got a good top end, so I'm pretty confident that I can overtake for the most part on the long straights. I'm hopeful, at least. Outbreak dude, up into P19. We've got a couple of corners left before we hit I think it's 1 corner before we get into the first long straight. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to zip along here. And that's it. See you later, Mr. Corvette. The long straight number 1. I don't know the braking points. I don't even remember what the brake marking boards look like. Thank God this dude moved over. I'm thinking, if you're going to block me in, I'm screwed. I'm just going to sit back here and hang out and have coffee. He moved over, so I was able to get by them. Up into P16. Thinking I'm doing all right so far. If I can keep this up, I got a chance of actually getting away with it. Through the first chicane. I did okay. I braked a little bit early. Better than braking a lot late, which I've done. And Mr. Solis in the... I think that was Mr. Solis. In the Dodge, in the Viper. And by him, past the Lambo. This car's got great top end, especially with that much toe in front of me. I've got 3 cars, two wide, creating this lovely slipstream. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go by you, and then I'm going to go by you. Oh, there's Mr. Solis. Sorry. Coming up behind the Porsche. See you later, Porsche. Okay, P11, almost into the points. Again, amazing top-end speed on this car. It's slippery. It's a fun car to drive. And then this, I couldn't remember if this part of it was full throttle and then the hair, and then the sharp turn, so I just slowed down a little early. Again, I'm just being a bit careful and a bit leery not to do anything stupid. And the other Viper, Mr. Portilla. And I got this whole section ahead of me that I just don't remember. Alright, I'll just kind of fake my way through here. Thankfully he stayed left. I was able to get by him a little bit. And then I'll back out for now because I don't know what's coming up. I can't remember the section. Made the move there where he slowed down a little bit too early. And again, I'm back in behind that VGT Mazda. With a crazy sounding thing. And that corner I went in slow. I wasn't sure how tight that was going to be. So I thought, no, I'm going to take it easy. I'll pass him on the straight. And I do. P9. Making up good time here. This is only lap 1. And I'm already up to P9. This is good. This bodes well with 8 directly in front of me. And then, 765 right ahead of him. So I'm doing all right. And this is the section I do know a little bit because of licensing. One of the license tests is here on a very, very fast car. Super fun. And you learn it really, really well. So this part I got familiar with. Except that I forgot, there is actually, this right here is full throttle. There's a little bit of a right-left. And I forgot that it's full throttle, so I kind of took it easy. And the Mazda caught right back up with me again until I got to here and went, nah. I'm done with you. Off I go. First chicane. Not bad. Second chicane. Flawless. As I say, this is definitely some of my best driving. I'm pretty wired for this because I'm thinking this is potentially the end of the main part of this game. And there's lots left. There's missions and there's track experience, and there's going for golds in my licenses and all the rest of it. There's lots left of the game, plus all the online racing I'm going to be doing. But I wanted to get through this. I've been working on it for months now, since last year, and it's been a long time coming. I'm pretty stoked. There I am, P8, 7654 in front of me. 3's way the heck up there. The podium positions can wait for now, but I'm just going to outbrake you because you're going to slow down that early. P7, into the long straight. The first of the long straights. I'm not quite sure, yeah. He's going to say, are you going to tuck in for some toe or are you just going to stay over on that side and be in the way? Then he pushes me wide. A little bit, not too bad, but see ya, and bye, and up to P5. And this is the camera angle I really love, but I can never quite figure out how it is that this cameraman can run faster than my car. It's impressive. Up behind the Supra. Yeah. Definitely overcooked that corner. And hit the bollard. Thankfully, they're attached and springy. I remember in the F1 2012 game, you could cut them off with your front wing, and they would fly through the air and land somewhere else on the track. It was pretty cool. All right. Cooking down the straight. Such a beautiful car. I decorated it myself. Wolf Racing. Dedicated to, or inspired by, Walter Wolf. Racing team from way back, the black and the gold. That one, this particular chicane, I made a bit of a mockery of. As I hit the second curb, on the left, I hit the right curb, which threw me a bit wide going into the final part of the corner, so I lost a bit of speed coming out of it. But again, I'm sitting fourth. Podium's in front of me, and I've got a pretty good sneaking suspicion I'm going to be able to overtake most, if not all, 3 of them. There we go, a little wide into that, but not horrifically. Another Supra, excellent top speed in the Supra as well. It's got a really good top end, but not as much as mine. The NSX is such an absolutely beautiful car. I love the mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout because the balance of the car just naturally works. You don't have to worry about front is really, really heavy. Okay, great, but it's a rear-wheel drive car, so on my back's not so heavy. I'm not getting necessarily as much traction as I'd want. So you got to compensate with downforce or ballast or whatever. The mid-engine rear-wheel drive works for me. I love it, and I've always loved the NSX. Okay, here we go. Coming up towards to the end of the second lap. Still quite a lot of lap to go on this particular track. But I got two people in front of me. And I can see them, but you can tell they're a long way up. I'm like, all right, let's see how we do. Let's see if I can catch them before the end of this race. I'm pretty positive that I can. I've been making up a lot of time on it, but I don't make any mistakes. I should be okay if I don't make any mistakes. I've already gone across the sand once. Thank God that baller didn't just stop me. They're only made out of plastic or whatever they're made out of, thankfully. There are other parts of the track that I've found are not quite so forgiving on, not necessarily this track. You'll find out. Okay, into the first chicane. Missed it a little bit, but not too horrifically bad. Second one, again, not the greatest, but I'm still pointing in the right direction. And I'm still catching them. I'm definitely closer. They're right together, so I'm kind of hoping they're going to start battling or something and maybe slow each other down. Through the... Yeah, kind of botched the heck out of that corner and lost a fair bit of speed there. Is what it is. It's not the worst place to lose speed because this is not a completely flat out section. The left and then the right and then another right and on the long straight. All right. Let's see if I'm any closer. Definitely closer. Okay, I'm catching them. How fast am I catching them? Fast enough? I'm hoping. They're cruising along pretty good, so we'll see how we do. This car's a bullet in a straight line. It's great for cornering too, as long as you recognize the fact that it's twitchy, and you got to account for that. But now I'm definitely catching them. That top speed is beast. So now I'm thinking of when I get to them, where am I going to be when I catch up to these guys? We've got another chicane coming. A little left-right zig. And then there's the right kink to the sharp right end of this section of straights. I just got to not pooch my braking point too badly, and I managed to get away with it on that one. I don't know exactly where to brake from that speed. Usually I'm at around the 200, 180 to be safe. I don't mind going in slow. As Sir Sterling Moss said, it's better to go into a corner slow and come out fast than to go in fast and come out dead. Agreed. So I backed off here, and then I went, no, I'm done with you guys. I'm just going to outbrake you both, sneak through there, no contact, and I'm done. P1. Just got to hang on to it at the end of the lap. Thanks, Mr. Marshall. So at this point, I'm in good shape. This is race number 3, and I'm in first, provided I can finish this way. I got some good points going into the last 2 races. Mount Panorama's not my strongest track by any stretch. I love it. The flow is wonderful, but it is brutal in some sections, so I'm a little bit careful, especially the uphill climb up the mountain. And this was the, oh God, don't hit that. Whew. And then, of course, there's the whole coming back down the mountain is twisty, turny, insane. So that track I'm a little bit more careful on. And the Nürburgring, never my strong suit. I don't know the track properly. Still working on it. But I'm holding my own. This through the section that I do kind of remember from the license test. Mind you, I did that license test months ago, so I don't remember it that well. But I do remember that there's a, what is it, a right-left zig. A zig and a zag. That is full throttle, which I managed to remember that time. And here we go. Da-da-da-da, full throttle, bang, bang, because they're close enough to a straight line for cars like these with downforce. Into the chicanes for the final time. Nice. Down a second. Nice. On the throttle. And that's it. Race number 3. P number 1. Okay. You can tell I'm rather happy with that one because I honestly was not sure I was going to be able to pull off a win on that. I'm pretty stoked. So I'm sitting with 36 points. And the people behind me, thankfully, have not always been the same person in second place. So if I screw up a little bit, I might still be okay for a championship win. There's jets at the beginning of this. Like fighter jets with smoke, and they do their little, air show thing. The shadow, right there, screwed me up completely. Totally distracted me, and I made an absolute mockery of the first corner. I thought, oh god, that's a hell of a way to set the tone for this race, but let's see how we do. Ripping down the straight towards P2. I'm gaining, and I'm doing all right. I'm thinking, I got the top speed. There's some very, very long straights on this, so I might be able to do all right. Get around this guy. It's so thin through here. And I snuck up his inside, and he went, oh my god, there's a car there. I didn't touch him. That was all him. And then he turned into me. I didn't have anywhere to go. There's a wall there. I don't know what you want me to do, buddy. There's a wall there. This section is the one that scares me because you can spin so easily when you're going up there. It's uphill, around corners, somewhat off camera in a couple of places. You've got to be careful, unless you're extraordinarily good. I'm still working on that part. Behind the Corvette, and this section down here, I've never really been able to figure out when to brake into this, so I just, I'll take it easy. He slows down a lot. I go, oh man, come on. I know you're driving a Corvette. It's big and fat, but get out of the way. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll get around you. But right now, thanks for leaving the door open. Down the hill, flat out. There's a kink at the end of this. You can tell it's coming because the road gets a little wider. The asphalt actually gets extended slightly on the left-hand side. So you can sort of deke left a little to make the right here. You can move a little bit left to get that right. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take your 3 spots. It was, again, a little bit argy-bargy. Sorry to the Ferrari. Didn't mean to dent your car. But, say Louis, up into 15th. Down the hill to the final corner before the start-finish line. Got a little bit deep into it, but not too bad. I don't like hitting that inside curve because you bounce too much. I prefer to just have the wheels just graze it. Lap 1 of 5 complete. I've got 4 cars in front of me here that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have any trouble with. There's a long straight, and I've got some serious speed. So the Lambo's 1. Viper's 2. I got a Nissan in front of me. And still in front of me, because at this point I'm like, I'm not going to do anything stupid. Up the hill, up the mountain. I'm going to pull off into your inside here, and I'm just going to steal your spot. And he hits me anyway. Like, peripheral vision, guys. Your AI, you should be able to see in 360 degrees. Yeah, it's the racing line, sort of, but... And then he actually ran into the wall right there. I'm like, dude, there was nobody anywhere near you. What did you... Whatever. Peace. I'm out of here. Pass a Porsche and... All right, back down the mountain. This crazy section that is so twisty-turny. It's fun, but you gotta drive it correctly or it will make a mess of you. I'm like, I'm just gonna sneak around you since you're gonna brake so early. Got a little squirrely through there, a bit of a moment. Not too bad. Up into P9, 8 and 7 in front of me. I'm pretty confident I can take these guys on the way back down the hill. And then 6 is right in front of them. So I'm thinking, okay, if I can get past P7 at this point in the race, I'm on target. Now this guy's not moving quickly enough, and he's blocking me in because he's making this really slow. I'll get there eventually pass. So I just followed him through. He brakes. All right, I'm just not going to do the argy-bargy thing again. I'll be nice. For now. Down the hill toward the last corner. Got this guy, and then there's the Mazda in front of him, and I outbrake him. That was a bit rough and a bit aggressive. Sorry. But thanks for P7. All right, start-finish line. Into lap 3, we have turn 1. The VGT is a good car, but it's not that good. And see ya. P6. Long straight towards turn 2. You can see the guys in front of me. They're quite a ways up. And what I don't realize at this point is P1 is quite a bit ahead of P2 and 3. Like seconds ahead. Normally they're kind of clustered up a little bit. Dude was on it. And so, yeah, this was going to be a challenge. I wasn't sure if I was going to pull off the win on this one or not. Certainly want to. I'm certainly trying. But it's going to be tight. This section is fast and sweeping, but you got to be careful because coming over these little crests, you lose traction and can slide so easily. So this guy decided he's just going to do all kinds of crazy stuff, and I ended up going across the grass. Not pretty. Sailor me. That section got a little bit out of control. Bit of a moment. Flying down towards this sharp left that leads onto this downhill section. So you really want to get that corner as perfectly as you can so you can get as much speed going down here as possible. All right, here we go. P5. 4 and 3 are right in front of me. No idea where 2 and 1 are. Can't see them. Oh, wait. I think that was one of them. Way off in the distance. Decided to go a little wide there. He moved to the outside. I moved to the inside. Thank you very much. I'll take P3. Onto the podium. Okay, this is a good start. Can I even catch up with P2 and 1? I've got 2 laps to go. I don't know where they're at. They're that far ahead. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know if I can catch these guys. Oh, there's one of them. This is crazy. All right, into turn 1. On the throttle as quickly as you possibly can to get this thing going. Up the hill towards turn 2, and I am gaining. You can see I'm still a few seconds off the lead. I'm thinking, okay, I might have a chance of this. Should be able to at least take P2. I'm thinking I can take P1. Down to 3rd gear for this corner. If you hit it right, it's super quick. And then up the hill. This undulating, I hit the wall. Yeah, that does not help. Guaranteed to lose you time. And wrecks a car. So I don't recommend it. That was close. At that point, I missed the wall by about a millimeter. I mean, you don't need to miss by any more than that, right? And you can tell it's starting to get dark. Remember, we started early morning, drove through the day, and now it's getting dark. Apparently, time in Australia runs differently than the rest of the world. And this is where things started to really unravel, unfortunately. Where the rest of the lap had been okay. See that yellow thing? Yeah, it doesn't give. Yeah, green flag now. Anyway, it's pretty much just lost all of the time that I had made up. So I'm back to kind of a square one at this point. Ripping down the hill, down the mountain, trying to catch P2. As you can see, P1 is, I don't know where he's at. He is so far ahead that I can't even see him. All right, it's what it is, but let's see if I can get P2. Let's see if I can actually pass this guy. Too late for the lunge, but he slows right down, and I ended up bonking into him from the back. I'm like, really, dude? I mean, your car's not that bad. Anyway, whatever. I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're going to slow down that early, I'm just going to do this. Bye. Okay, P2. Where the heck is P1? Literally seconds in front of me. All right. Drop the hammer. Let's see what we can do. This is where I kind of went as hard as I could in just about all of these corners. Again, being a little bit careful on the uphill section because that is so treacherous. And it's so easy to spin or slide across the track into a wall, which will lose you a whole bunch of time. But I'm pushing at this point. I'm pushing. At least as much as I can. As you can see, didn't hit the wall that time. Bonus. And it's dark. It is now dark, which is not helping my plight in the least. Because as much as I know this track, I don't know it that well. And the corners do have this tendency to sneak up on you. Sweeping left. Down into this crazy... They just put this chunk of grass in the middle of the track. Right there. Made you drive around it. Alright, fair enough. Remember what I did last lap? Whoa, not quite as bad. I still lost a good half second. And then just to make things even worse, I hit the wall. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Under 2 seconds behind him. I got a chance, I think. But this is terrifying because that zig to the right, you can't see it until you're there. So I'm looking for where the road goes a bit wider and then turn. And I got away with it. That was all using the force. So there he is, P1. Unless he makes a massive blunder, there's no way I can take him. And he hasn't made a mistake yet. Mr. Fraga has driven an absolutely flawless race. It is what it is. Come home to take P2, second step on the podium. I can live with that. Considering the track and it finished off at night, I can live with that. All right. Not the championship or champion, but that's okay. So I'm sitting with 46 points going into the final race at the Nürburgring, which is not my favorite track. And at this point I went, oh my God, it's at night? Oh no, I'm in deep trouble. Includes the main part of the first part, of course, of the championship, the whatever the heck it's called, this part of the track, which I know a little bit. And then on to the Nordschleife. See ya! Dude, just stop braking so much and I won't have to run into you. So, whatever. Was it by him? That's easy enough. It's never hard to pass P19. It's the other 18 that are a problem. And that Corvette, this is a crazy section. I don't know the track well enough to know when exactly to brake in the daylight. I got away with that. Barely. But I'm thinking winning this one is going to take a minor miracle and not screwing up horrifically at any point. Following them as best I can, trying to pass them as best I can. It's a thin track. It's twisty-turny, and I don't really know it, so I'm hoping for the best. I see an opening, and it's kind of, okay, stick my car in there and get through. But I don't know where to brake, don't know where to turn. You can see I'm sort of turning and then unturning, sawing away the steering wheel a little bit. Going by what the dashboard is telling me in terms of what gear I'm supposed to be in. If it says 1, I'm usually in 2. You get the idea, but it gives me an idea of, okay, how bad is this corner coming up? And I've got the little mini-map going in the bottom right-hand corner. Normally, I prefer to have the radar, but on this track, I have the mini-map because I just don't know it well enough. And there are sections of this track that are absolutely flat out that I didn't take flat out because I couldn't see what was coming. This was fun. All over the curb. Didn't bounce me too badly, so I got away with it. flash, dude. People behind me have been flashing me, so I figured I'll flash my headlights at them. Maybe it'll distract them. Maybe it'll make some difference. It didn't. They completely ignored me. Up over the hill to a not super slow, but it's definitely a slow down corner. And the one guy with the yellow lights. So at this point, I'm wondering, is it actually going to be all night? Or did we start in the morning? And it turns out that we kind of did, quote, drive through the night. So a chunk of this race was done in the dark. You see the sun is just peeking up a little bit over the horizon. And we are a third of the way through the lap, time-wise. And I'm having trouble because I'm not able to pass these guys. It's a thin track. It's fast in a lot of places, but I'm not necessarily going that fast because I don't know exactly where to turn, where to slow down. So I'm being rather careful, which is not a good way to win races. I finally just said, heck with you, I'm going around you. And then unfortunately, went across the grass. I didn't kill him on the way back. And did manage to finally make the overtake stick. Not doing well. We're coming up on halfway through the lap, and I've passed about 4 people. So I'm thinking, oh, not sure how well this is going to go over, but we'll see how we do. Lots of lap left, but lots of people to pass. One of the things that I can at least do when there's cars in front of me is they brake. I know exactly where where the corners are, because if they're braking, I probably need to. And this was an interesting overtake because he zigged a bit and I kind of smacked him. You can probably tell from the sound that he went a little sideways. Sorry. So I'm up into P14 and hoping to get into the points, honestly. Lambo, the whatever thingy, and 12th. Okay, I'm P12. 2 more puts me into the points. But all right, there's 11. I don't know where the rest of them are. They're up there someplace. Again, there's a lot of sections on this way that are absolutely straight, flat, foot to the floor, this being one of them. But then I sort of let off a little bit from time to time because I'm thinking, where's the corner? I don't remember whether I can take it at full throttle. And this guy's went under the grass and he went by me again. Kind of pushed me a little wide, so I decided, I'm going to flash you to tell you I'm not terribly happy with you at all. And that was when I decided this guy needs to be behind me. Those yellow lights are driving me crazy. So we go side by side through here. I stayed off the grass, thankfully, and made the pass stick. Mostly because this car is extraordinary at braking. So here we go, P11. I'm still not in the points. And I'm coming up to the carousel. I'm like, okay, suffering, jumping, Joseph, this is nuts. I am not doing well. At least now the sun is starting to come out a little bit. And I can kind of see what I'm doing. Maybe a little too late, but I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful. This section I know a little bit because of license testing. And you get familiar with where to turn and where not to. So this next dozen corners or so I know fairly well. Not great. And I'm still being a little bit careful because I really don't want to be spinning. Final race, I don't want to completely screw it up. Still hoping to catch up with some of the people in front of me. But I'm a long way off the lead. Downhill right. And the uphill right. And there's the moon. This is the section that's pretty much flat out, and I'm not necessarily taking it flat out. Again, a lot of this is I'm just being a bit too careful, and it's obviously costing me time. As you can tell, I'm P11, and we're coming up on Mini Carousel, which, as we know, leads onto the Nottingham, the longest straight on the track. A bit of a moment. A bit oversteery. Car's twitchy. Here we go. The Mini Carousel. And I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm here already? And I'm in P11? This does not bode well. Unfortunately, it completely unraveled at this point because I went way too hot into that corner. Decided that my car was a golf cart and lost a huge amount of speed onto the Nottingham, which is where you want as much speed as possible coming out of that turn, because there they all are. And if I had not done that, and I'd been driving just a little bit better, I think I would have been able to at least get into the points. As it is, Marshall watches me go by all by my lonesome. And at this point I'm thinking, well, maybe the guys in front will screw up somebody under the Bilstein Bridge. A little bit of a kink to the left, down the hill, up the hill, and then start the braking process to try not to die into this final section of the track. I'm not doing horrifically bad, but I'm certainly not doing great. And at this point, that's it. P11 for the final race. Ugh. I don't know who's in the lead. I don't know who's winning this thing right now. Oh, Fraga, Gallo, Lopez. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But as it turns out, I had enough points. And I won. Holy smokes. World GT Series champion. Another $250,000. You get your choice of cars. I'd love to have gone for that Pagani. But I got a Porsche. It's a nice Porsche. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't the Pagani. Well, there you have it, folks. The GT Series is complete. Let's go back to the cafe to see Luca. Congratulations! What a beautiful trophy. It's a replica of the sculpture by Umberto Boccioni. Cool. It looks like a crazy running dude with flames on him. It's kind of neat. 6-star roulette ticket. And there's a whole lot of things that go on at the cafe that I'm not showing you because I don't want to spoil it for you. A whole lot of stuff between when you see the trophy and when you see the stars. But I wanted to make sure I included this because, as it turns out, that is in fact the end of the main part of the game. This is where a whole bunch of other stuff opens up. And I'm very much looking forward to getting into that and into some online races, bringing in a little bit more exciting stuff. So thank you very much for joining me for this journey, and have an awesome day. Peace.